Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. I'm Nicole and this is Pixel Maven's Retreat. If you're not already a subscriber, I would love for you to click on that little button right down there at the bottom of the screen so that way you get notifications of all the new videos that I put out each week. Today I have a little bit of a review video, and this is all about the new scrapbook.com stencil line. A few months ago they started creating stencils because they are really on trend, and it's one of my most favorite things. So if you go out to my blog post today, you're going to see all the new stencils and all of the great products that I like to use with them. So I thought I would go through that on the video today. So let's just start off by going through all of the new stencils. There are 3 that were previously released, maybe 4 that were previously released, but these are the newer ones. So this first one here is Snowflakes, and it has all sorts of different snowflake designs. One of the things that I really like about the size is that this is a 6x8, which means that even if you're doing a 5x7 card, or if you're doing a scrapbook page, this is big enough for you to use it on those projects and get edge-to-edge coverage, or to get enough coverage on an element for a 12x12 scrapbook page that you're not going to run into problems where you're trying to move it around all over the place. So that's one of the things I really like about the scrapbook.com stencils, is that they created a size that is manageable for all sorts of paper crafters. So the second one is Scallop, and this is a classic design. I like it this way because it's little like rainbows, but you can also turn it this way and it looks more like fish scales. So great for masculine cards. The next one here is Trees, and even though these are little pine trees, you don't have to use these just for Christmas or the holidays. These would be great for in through the winter and perhaps even summer or fall designs. It just kind of depends on what colors you use and how you pair this up with sentiments and other imagery. And then the next one they have is Hearts. So of course Valentine's Day will be here before you know it. It's heart season, so hearts are always a good staple at that point of time, but hearts are really great for any occasion, so you can use this one throughout the year. The next one is another classic design. It's a herringbone, and you can see I've already used this one and it's got some love on it, but that's okay. Stencils will get stained, but that's not going to affect their performance. In fact, it may make it easier to find if you drop it on the floor. So this is a great herringbone design. Perfect, like I said, for masculine designs, but really another versatile all-purpose stencil. And then the last one that they have that's new is Honeycomb, and hexagons are still really on trend. You don't have to use this for strictly bee designs. Honeycombs are great to allude to chicken wire or other vintagey looks. It's really another staple shape that you'll want to have in your stencil collection. Now that you've seen the 6 new stencils, let's take a look at some products that I like to pair them with. All right, so the first and most obvious thing that the stencils work great with is the new domed foam blenders and scrapbook.com hybrid ink pads. So you can use both of these in combination with the stencil to create a beautiful card like this. And in this card, I created a really cool background, and then I went over it with the stencil and the darkest shade to make a really neat, subtle texture that really brought this whole card together. Of course, it pairs really nice with the scrapbook.com cut files too. Another product that works really great with the stencils is embossing ink and embossing powder. So you can go ahead and just do ink direct to paper with the stencil on top of it and create a really cool effect. And in this case, I used just the clear embossing powder so that way the stencil design would pop out as a tone on tone. And this time I decided to cut them out with some dies from the stamp market, and I was able to get a 2-for-1 card that looks really awesome. And remember, I told you if you flip this around, it looks like scales instead of scallops, and this would be a great card for any guy. Of course, you can use more than one technique when you're using your stencils. So on this design, I used some Distress Oxide to blend in the little background areas, but then I did direct to stencil with the ink and sprayed it a little bit to get the insides of the hexagon as well. Of course, I went for the traditional bee and honey look for this honeycomb, but of course you can use any color combination to make it just a geometric shape. Another way to use stencils is with Distress Oxide sprays. So you can go ahead and just shake these up and spray the different colors on your stencil, and then go ahead and flip it over and put it right on your watercolor paper and come up with a beautiful effect that is the reverse of what the stencil would normally provide. So this is an example of that, and I think it just looks absolutely stunning. Every time you do this, it'll look different. Along those same lines, you can take it a step further with your Distress Oxide sprays. First, by covering your cardstock with the stencil and spraying, and then spraying on the stencil and smushing it onto the cardstock, matching it up with the hearts. So that way you get both the positive and the negative. If you want to take it even further than that, you can then realign your clean stencil and use a journaling marker or pen to outline the heart and go ahead and color it in. Last but not least, you can combine a whole bunch of techniques to come out with a unique design. In this case, I have traditional stenciling with the scrapbook.com brushes and the stencil. And then I have the ink to stencil technique where I smush the ink color on. And finally, I used some embossing paste and went over a few of the trees to give it some additional texture. As you can see, there are endless ways that you can use stencils in your paper crafting projects. The scrapbook.com stencils are truly amazing and will be a well-loved addition to your paper crafting stash. I hope you enjoyed today's little review of the scrapbook.com stencils, and I'll be back soon with more videos. But until next time, happy crafting!